Hello gang, welcome back. In our last video we were going over the design aspects of the cabinets between the cooler cabinet and the sink cabinet. Got that all figured out. Placed them where they're going to go in the van. But I ran into the dilemma of actually needing the van to get the precise measurements. So our next task was to go rent a van to bring that in and place everything inside a van. But before I could do that, I had to go to the lumberyard and get the wood and the insulation for the flooring to where we'll have the exact height off of the van floor to precisely place these objects.
Here's 3/4 inch OSB, flat as a pancake, and here's brand new 3/4 inch plywood that's never even seen the weather or outside. Alright, let's get this stuff loaded up and get home and get to work. On my way back from the lumberyard, and I just have to stop at my neighbor's house and show you his latest project that he's got going on. Only in Minnesota would this happen, but you gotta love it. Well, most kids that love hockey are setting up a net in the driveway and putting on their rollerblades. My neighbor decided to put up a full-size hockey rink with nets and netting, everything. Is that cool or what? At nighttime he's got it lit, so yeah, we got some special kids in our county, that's for sure. All right, I'm just sitting here cutting this stuff and I'm thinking, I know some people online are going to be wondering why I don't have a dust vacuum system. I don't have a proper woodworking shop. This shop sets up for all sorts of different tasks, and I just do not have a vacuum extraction device in here. In fact, most of my tools are all set up to go wherever I need them to go, either on the job site back here, to go do a timber frame build, whatever. So I'm set up differently than your typical wood shop. And when I'm in here, I've got some priority decisions to make. One of them is my ear protection so I don't go deaf, which I'm already kind of getting there. My eye protection too, so I can see and to save my eyes. But if I go to put a dust mask on right now with this chillier weather, I end up fogging up and then I can't see everything. But I do have a great exhaust fan set up in my shop. Unfortunately, when I crank that on, it sucks all the heat up that I just spent, the last 20 minutes trying to get it warm in here. So there's some compromises I have to make, and I'm okay with it. For the days when I'm set up doing a lot of cutting and there's a lot of dust around, I'll run that exhaust fan, get that going, and I'll try to use a dust mask with a face shield so things don't fog up quite so much. But it's not perfect, but it works. All right, I want to have a little talk about plywood and OSB. I think I mentioned something about it in Home Depot when we were picking it up. But I'm thinking that this is by far the best choice for the floor of a van. Here's the deal. I put down plywood on tract homes when I was in my 20s for years. And I used to build a home a week doing that stuff. And anytime it rained or snowed, you had to get the water off that stuff right away or it wanted to start warping and buckling on you and coming apart. And years later when we started using the OSB, we could glue and nail that stuff down and it would rain on it, it would snow on it, we'd shovel the snow, keep framing the house, working away. It was by far a better product. So I've never used anything else, not to mention the fact that it's tongue and groove. So everything gets snugged up tight and you know the edges don't buckle. So I haven't seen many of the other van builders online using just OSB. They've been using plywood and stuff like that. I don't know why, but this is definitely what we're going to use on this van. So I'm thinking it'll be great. All right, I think I'm at a really good stopping point for today. I've got the insulation cut out and laid out. I've got all the plywood basically cut to size and the pattern sitting on top of it ready to go. I'm going to wait till I get the layer of insulation foam board in before I cut the plywood, and then I have the van here. So I think that'll be a good stopping point, and I'll go pick up the van tomorrow and can't wait to get going on that. All right, the van is here. Now the work can begin. We got a couple issues right off the get-go. One is that door. This van just barely fit through there, and this happens to be a medium roof. It's not the high roof. The high roof is about another 10 inches tall. So I just may have me an issue to deal with. I was thinking I might just be able to let some air out of the tires and get it in here, but I don't think that's going to be enough room. I may end up having to cut me a new garage door hole over in this wall or figure out something, because once I get a fan on top of here and a Wi-Fi little antenna and some stuff like that, it's gonna be tight. So first order of business is to get some steps built. I'm gonna be in and out of this thing a dozen times, and then my van when it gets here dozens of times. So I got some scrap lumber. We're gonna get some stairs built and get that going. Let this thing dry out and get to work this afternoon. All right, we're starting to make a little bit of progress here. Got some steps built, got some lighting in there, starting to get some of the insulation down. I've got a couple sheets down and going. I'm gonna get the wood down tonight and then call it a night. I've got a couple of sheets of plywood in and a couple of sheets of the insulation under it, which will get my floor up to the right height where I can start putting some of the furniture in tomorrow and just start seeing how it all fits. Here's the progress report on today's work. We've got all the components in the van that I have built so far. So I've got the seat in here. Now I didn't take the wood flooring all the way up under the seat. There was no need to. For one, I have a bulkhead in this rental van, but it still tells me I know where the seat needs to go from there. And then that lets me know where all the cabinetry needs to go also. So as I fit it all in here, I can see that I can add about 6 more inches to this cabinet. And over on the opposite side where the cooler is for the pull-out refrigerator cooler, there's room in between that and the benches for a upright closet, floor to ceiling, goes there. I took and rebuilt both of the benches, took about 3 inches off of them, made them a little bit shorter so I have a little bit more room there. There's still plenty of room to fold out into a bed and plenty of room for seating. And there'll also be the Happy Jack bed system that slams up against the ceiling there, and then when you need it, it just electrically comes down, makes into some bunk beds, and then you can just take it right back up and good there. So I've got a ton of space under the benches, excuse me, for electronics, batteries, charge controllers, and all of that. So it's turned out really good for what I needed. I needed to get all this stuff in the van so I could actually see where it was going to land, and then what I could fill in there. So it's been a very productive day, and it was worth running into town to get a van just to get this stuff figured out.